Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel, where in today's video I'm going to take you through my 4 exam day predictions for the Strategic Business Leader exam December 2024 sitting. That's for the Rodhim case study. My name is James. Make sure you subscribe if you're doing your SBL exam, because I've got a heap of videos on my channel that could be the difference in getting you that 50 plus. And if you'd like access to the exclusive notes I'm going to walk and talk you through in this video, just click the link in the description. Again, it's going to save you so much time and it will take you through all the insights of the 4 tips. I'm also delighted to say that I'm affiliated and associated with Astranti, where you can access, if you click the links in the description of this video, their mock papers, their pre-seen analysis packs, absolutely fantastic resources that I'd be using. And as always, for pure transparency on the channel, if you were to click any of those links and to buy any of the items, I'd be entitled to a small commission which goes to supporting the YouTube channel. So as ever, a massive thank you for all of the support. Be sure to leave me some comments below how you're getting on with your revision, because we're going to get stuck into it straight away now. Your exam tip prediction number 1 is a pestle analysis question. So we've got to be coming down to, first of all, if you want to get this noted down, the industry-related risks on the left-hand side. Straight away, it's crying out for pestle on here. I've given you some of the economic factors, environmental, legal, technology, and that links into the national economic conditions, environmental factors, legislation and regulation, and those operational issues. Absolutely, but again, I don't know the SBL examiner, I've not seen the paper. If I had a crystal ball, as I always say, I would know if my beloved Leicester City are going to get relegated or stay in the Premier League this year. It's just crying out for pestle as you go through the pre-seen information. And it would be quite a nice question, because we've been given loads of information on Rodhim on here. And then when we go into a few more other details that overlap to different areas of the pre-seen information, if you go down to page 10 on the right hand side, again we've got that risk category and then the risk factors, those strategic risks, financial, economic risks on there, a variety of different pestle factors along with political issues of compliance and regulatory risk. And the final key thing for if it was to come up on there, and it is a classically tested theory, notice how I've also got linked to these areas of pestle the either partner or manager who works for Rodhim who is accountable for that particular area. The market is going to absolutely love if you apply that, along with some of the key figures, facts that come up in the actual pre-seen information. The last ones being, if you look on the left hand side, in Rodhim's actual website and strategic aims, they actually refer to innovative technologies on there. We've got environmental sustainability manner, business culture for social factors. Again, it's just, we shall see, but I would 100% want to be prepared for a pestle analysis question, and that would be my exam prediction number 1 for you to get started in this video. Number 2 now is SWOT analysis. Again, another classically tested theory, and if you've got the notes on here, it's definitely going to help you out. So I've given you a sort of rough breakdown on the left hand side at the back of the notes, where if we just quickly go through the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats, and there are a lot of them on there. Personally, I would say in terms of the strengths for Rodhim, it's established in the marketplace, 6 years of operating, experienced founders who have got experience from previous larger firms on there, increasing fee income, we just saw above, and actually quite a large team, 34, but they are quite a small organisation in the Haaland market. Weaknesses, as we said, that's where the small firm comes into it. The poor tender success rate, you can just see up above me, only 45%, needs to be definitely improved on there, along with the client satisfaction going down. That's the NPS score above on page 11. But the one thing we'll come on to the threats, because opportunities I'm going to take you back up to. Threats in terms of the unlimited liability of the partners, technology risks, and no manager is accountable for the sustainability factors on there. Opportunities, I think there's just so much you could talk about here. The public sector, they haven't tapped into that market yet. Sports events, virtual events, they're the more profitable and high growing areas. international clients as well, Haaland expansion. If you go up to pages 3 and 4 for opportunities, and in terms of collaboration, the current Rodhim team do not actually collaborate with the smaller firms. Again, that could be another factor. As you can see on the paragraph on the bottom right hand side, it says that if you're a smaller firm like Rodhim, you should band together with the other smaller firms to compete against the larger ones when it comes to tenders. But the two partners of Rodhim have said, we'd rather not do that. We'd rather be independent ourselves. Again, another opportunity for them to grow their business. The private clients and corporate clients are 4% and 73% respectively. And Rodhim haven't actually gone into the public sector. Another massive area for opportunity. Along with on the left-hand side now with the types of events, sports and virtual are the two which highlight high levels of growth and potential that could link into much developed opportunities there. Along with, again, just to quickly highlight it, that paragraph there where my mouse is, they've got an 11% annual growth for each of the next 5 years. That is the events global marketplace on there. And again, it's going to be the same in Haaland with the marketplace growing. So on one side of the coin, it is opportunity of the market growing and growing and growing. They could take advantage of. The opposite side of it is it attracts new competitors in the market. And then you've got to look at other things like barriers to entry. What's our unique selling point? Can we have a competitive advantage? You don't want really a sort of generic approach. You want to be really, a nice feel for what you're providing to the clients on there. So that is number 2, SWOT analysis. I would definitely want to be prepared for. Number 3 now, and again, this is just my hunch going through it, is business structure of Rodhim on there. So you've got to come down to page 6 first of all, and to sort of set the scene, just in case you've not had a look through the notes yet, we've got Amanda and Safi, who are business partners, 50% each, and they are in a partnership. I touched on it before as a potential threat that they have unlimited liability, which means if the business racks up a load of debt or has maybe a fine or a lawsuit, then they would be liable to paying that out of their own personal finances. It's not a limited company and it's not a PLC. So that's where it sort of links into the business structure itself. First of all, and you can see it on the left-hand side now, where they've got 34 full-time employees, they've got 3 managers who are in charge of a variety of different roles. And one of the areas on the SBL syllabus is all about leadership on there. And we could have a situation where we've got a partnership that may actually incorporate to a limited company or potentially have an IPO, so initial public offering, and they could throw in things about leadership of Amanda and Safi. They've clearly got experience in the past on there of working in a larger firm, and then the corporate governance and ethics factors that could come into that, again throwing into the requirements on the exam day something ethically that has gone wrong, and then where does it link into the code of ethics on there. Again, something just to consider, especially if they've got unlimited liability on there and could be at risk of a sort of lawsuit, fine, penalties, all these sort of things. And the last area that links into the business structure, which we haven't been given a balance sheet, but it, again, could come up on the exam day, linking to Jimmy's role of the financial control and reporting, is really, we could, because, I say we, Rodhim are a small firm. They could go through a merger or an acquisition on there. These are the sort of different things that could link in the 5 key players. We're only given 5 names in the pre-seen information, and I think they're going to throw something about the business structure in there and the people side of it, maybe linking into the leadership that you need to be considering off. So check out that area of your core text as well. That is number 3, business structure of Rodhim, and a few other elements put in there. And number 4 has to go in. Something bad has to happen on your SBL exam. And my 2 key areas I've got down here are either IT, tech, or sustainability. So if we come down to page 9 now, why do I say this? Well, we've got information systems on the left-hand side. Key thing for your notes here, James Atros is accountable for this. So he's the manager and the qualified accountant, head of business support. They have a variety of different areas of IT, from the ticketing system, marketing on there, management information, and I'm thinking about cyber risks, data breaches on there. Could link into strategy. It's posed as well that using technology correctly is going to be a unique selling point for the customer's satisfaction. But if we come down to that NPS score, so the Net Promoter Score, which measures client loyalty and satisfaction, it's been going down year on year. So again, something will go wrong, and it could be something maybe to do with their app or website that they have to be aware of. Whilst we're talking about accountability and the first area of IT support and development, which you can see Jimmy is accountable for, sustainability on the other hand, or the environment, as you can see on there, none of the managers or none of the actual partners have it down in their job title, in their role. And why is that important? Well, look on the right hand side, we've got environmental sustainability is one of the non-financial KPIs. Waste recycled, water consumption, energy on there, but we don't have anyone who's in charge of actually managing that, and then also looking at ways to actually provide a solution. So definitely something to get down in your notes from an environmental point of view. And then when it comes down to the other areas now as to why I think these are quite prominent, is if we go to page 9 and you look at the strategic aims of Rodhim. And remember, you're doing a strategic professional exam for ACCA. They're going to test some strategy on there. You've got on there, I mean, business opportunities, exploiting and exploring. That was in our SWOT analysis we talked about on there. Number 2, utilising innovative technologies. It's one of the strategic aims. We've touched on ethical business culture. I mentioned that briefly in the structure of the of Rodhim and the organisation. That's where it could again overlap. But last but by no means least, operate in an environmentally sustainable manner. CSR strategy linked into the environment, but nobody has that as their role. So again, could link into ethics and a variety of different other areas, IT and sustainability. Also not forgetting, that's why I'm just scrolling up for the final part of this video, is on the left hand side there. Don't forget about things like agency theory. Stakeholder groups are definitely going to be on your examination. That's both internal and external that you're going to have to relate your balance points to. CSR factors, that will link into sustainability and the environment. But those professional skills marks, don't overlook those. Be critical, be skeptical in the way that you're wording your answers. And last but by no means least, this is keep it for your pen and paper. I didn't get all of these in the video, but there are sprinkles that these other theories and other areas that could actually come up in terms of other models. You've got Porter's 5 forces. I would also make sure I'm really, really confident on before your SBL exam. Ansoff's matrix must be down there. Porter's value chain is an interesting one, especially with that client satisfaction going down. It could link into there. Porter's diamond, and last but by no means least, the Boston Consulting Group matrix. Those will all be theories I want to be on top of, having a very good idea, linking to these key notes that we've got prepared beforehand. So if they were to refer to any of those on the exam day, I know some very good points that could relate to it. And that takes you through my 4 exam day question predictions for the SBL exam of December 2024. Let me know in the comments what you think might come up and if you found these tips helpful. And if you click down in the description of this video, you can download a copy of my exclusive notes, and I would highly recommend you check out the pre-seen pack from Astranity and those mock papers where those theories and models and elements I've touched on in this video will be tested and you can access and practice them on there. What I'll do for you now is I'll put a couple more videos up at the top. Click one of those, they're going to have some more points to help you pass your SBL exam, and best of luck with your revision preparation, and I'll see you on the other side. Thank you very much.